Good morning everyone, and how you doing today? Today we have an F-150. This F-150 is in for a really cool system. It has that factory 8-inch touchscreen. It's a non-Sony, so we can't do an Amp Pro, which means we're going to do this guy here. The audio control DM608. Now, with that guy, most of the time what we'll use is a car AV T-harness. However, I didn't realize I sold out of those. They come from far away, apparently, and they take like 2 to 3 weeks to get here. So what we're using today to integrate into the factory radio is this guy here. Now, this is the new Access T-harness for their DSP. We're not using theirs, we're gonna use our audio control. However, in the box, amongst other things, we get this cool T-harness. This will plug into the radio, this will plug into the car. It has both the inputs and output speaker wirings. Really all we're worried about is the output from the radio. It also has this portion here that would go to their DSP. We're not gonna be using their DSP, so we're gonna go ahead and cut the harness open, cap everything off, and just make it a straight T-harness. This is what we came up with in a pinch because we needed something really quick. Now the nice thing about them coming out with this DSP is now they have a ton of T-harnesses that we can use for things like a DM608 or when we're adding in high level to low level and we don't want to cut the harness, because Car AV makes a ton of harnesses for this, but they don't make all of them. Now to power this system, we're going to be using this Stinger 4-gauge kit right here, as well as the amplifier that's going to get connected to it is the PDX V9. Now for those of you who aren't familiar with this is a constant power amplifier, which means it doesn't matter if it's at 2 ohms or 4 ohms, it's still going to put out 100 watts to each channel, and it's 500 watts for the sub. There again, whether it's at 2 ohm or 4 ohm, it doesn't matter. It'll put out the same amount of power. For speakers, we're going to be going with the new X Series S69C components. PDX V9 is just going to be running these. He's not doing any rear speakers. For subs, we're doing 2 10-inch kicker comp RTs underneath the back seat. Alright, so the first thing we want to do when we get one of these F-150s in is always check for the fake engine noise. More and more of them are not coming with it, which is cool, but some of them may still have it. This is a newer one, but we just want to make sure. So Fernando's going to go ahead, get the passenger door panel off, and do that. While I run next door, I have to pick up some other parts. Let's jump to him.
So we have the door panel out. We're going to go and check for the engine noise. So for that, we want to use the RTA BAA3. We want to go and close all the doors. So we start the car and just put the volume like 1, and then we'll see. No noise. So we good to go.
Back from the other store, I had to pick up some more roadkill for the doors. We're gonna roadkill and fast string these doors here. Since Fernando already has the passenger door off, he's gonna go ahead and get started there on that. I'm gonna go ahead and get the radio out of the dash and also figure out where we're gonna put the equipment in the back seat area. For the amplifier and the processor, they're gonna go right here behind the back seat. If you guys wanna get the back seat up, you stick your finger behind the seat and there's a lever you pull right here and it just will lift this and unlock it. It's real easy to do. You don't actually have to buy anything special. You can reach in, there's plenty of room to do it. It just locks onto this pin right here. The subs are gonna go here up underneath the seat. He's got one of these giant plastic floor mats that's gonna go underneath there, so we're gonna try to get the box up as high as possible. So this is the box here. You can either downfire it or face it up. We might end up just facing it up so that it doesn't smack into this floor mat and make a sound. But we'll play with that once we get to the end. Now, we are just replacing the front speakers, and the idea is to just have front speakers. So the factory center channel and the factory 2 rear speakers are not gonna play. He doesn't want them connected. It's basically just gonna be a 3-channel system, or also called network mode, I guess you could call it if it was a Pioneer radio, but we're not putting one in. So it's just gonna have tweeter, mid, subwoofer, and that's it. So with the 608, we'll be able to do full crossover, time correction, EQ, the whole 9 yards. I think at this point, I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna start pulling this car apart and figuring out where everything's gonna go.
All right, since we have the door panel out because we're checking the engine noise, we're gonna go and jump into the treatment of the door. Roadkill the back, roadkill the front, fast rings, pull the speaker, all 9 yards. So we have the factory 6x9s out. Before you start putting the roadkill, yesterday in here rained, so of course it's like water inside. So before we put in the roadkill, we're gonna clean it, make sure it's dry. We done with the back. I'm gonna go and put the fast rings. First, go and roll the window down. See how much space I have between the metal and the window. We're gonna use the Stinger Roadkill fast rings, the RKFR69. So this is the first piece that we need to install. So definitely we need to cut a little bit of the foam, probably trim a little bit of the back so we can actually pull it up a little bit. The second piece. So the speaker adapters are the Metra, the 825606. We're gonna go to the bench and from the front, from the back, and install the speaker. So I went and make 2 holes in the bracket just to zip tie my wire so it's not moving when the window is up and down. This is the last part of the install.